Hi, everybody. You're watching Passion Project, and I'm your host, Cat Margulis. I am super excited about today's guest. Today I have Keelin Siobhán Clark, and Keelin is a very dear friend of mine. She's also the owner of Liberty Empowerment, which is dedicated to helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses by getting them confident and profitable in front of the camera, as well as liberating their creativity through powerful coaching focused on business empowerment and joy. Keelin is also the host of 2 live online shows, Planet Liberty and Mystical Mornings, and I'll bring her on right now. Hi!
So glad to be here, buddy.
I love you so much. I'm so excited to get to hang out with you today. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So, Keelin, I was so excited to have you on the show because I feel like when I'm writing a book and even this podcast, like I'm just in the play zone and I feel completely irresponsible. And my experience of you is that you are like the embodiment of play and inner child. So I just want to know how you get away with it, how are you able to still be in that zone like all day, every day?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't always like this. I just surrendered to it, right? And I actually, maybe I have always been like this because I do have friends from high school and they're like, you're never going to grow up. And I'm like, why bother? That's not fun,
No. You're like a living Peter Pan.
A little bit. And it's important for us to play because, well, I'll just talk about the energy piece of it first, is that, when we talk about like high vibes, high vibration, that's a playful state. It really is.
I never thought of it like that. That's so cool.
So if we're in a playful state and we're, that's a high vibration, and that actually goes to everyone around us, right? So being in that playful state is actually creating world peace. That's how important it is.
Wow. I didn't think we were going there. This is awesome. Because I was like, I need somebody to give me permission like all the time that this is okay to just be silly and play and it not be about a paycheck at the end of the day or about the kids or my husband or the house. So I love it's world peace. So I am doing world peace when I'm writing and playing and podcasting.
Yes. And you're in your zone of genius, right?
Yes.
So and that's like where the money and the energy just flows. Like you're a natural born author. Like that's what you are. So when we're actually allowing ourselves to have the joy that God, the universe, whatever has given to us, that's when everything flows. And the guilt is the piece that's like of the energy that's just trying to like keep us down. But imagine the world if we were all doing the things that we just wanted to really do without the guilt. Imagine what that would look like.
Yeah. That would be amazing. That's what I'm all about. Like I'm all about people making their dreams happen. And at the same time, I feel so silly and naive. I'm like, I'm waiting for them to laugh at me. So I'm like, yes, I still believe in unicorns. You know what I mean? Like
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I love unicorns.
Yeah, I love it. And so, I mean, you work with people and you empower entrepreneurs, and these are like people who are like goal setting and they're responsible and they're making things happen and they see a gap. Or do you see the gap for them?
Yeah. I see that they make it really, really serious. And I fall into it too.
Yeah.
Like the work that we're up to in the world is serious.
Yeah.
And it gets to be playful.
Yeah, I love that. How do you reconnect people who are so far gone on the play and so disconnected to their inner child?
Yeah. So it's first them a willingness, right?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to go up to like, a really serious person and be like, okay, it's time to play. Like that will be like, get away from me, you crazy pink-haired lady,
Yeah.
But a lot of times we have a story as adults that we've forgotten how to play.
Mm-hmm. So true.
And it goes back to your guilt story.
Yeah.
I don't have time to play.
Yeah.
I don't have time for myself. I don't have time for... So if I'm working with a client and they have small kids, I invite them just to go and not play with the kids, because of a lot of adults want to go and play with the kids, and that means the adults controlling the situation. So I invite parents to go let your kid teach you how to play.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm gonna get teary.
Let them show you how to play.
Mhm.
Because it feels like, okay, well, I just need to be here with them. Or like you get to let go of control.
Mhm.
And a lot of times that control piece is what's in the gap of their next level of business, their relationships, all of those pieces. So like when we actually surrender
Yeah.
to the play state, not
Yeah.
only are you enjoying yourself, and time becomes this weird, like quantum, like stretchy, stringy cheese that just like
Yeah.
happens, but you're also raising the vibration of the planet. Literally.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. And it's so funny because, like, even with my daughter, I had a story just like everybody else that I was not a playful person. I was never a playful kid. And then my husband, like, was watching my daughter the other day and he asked my mom, like, was Kat like that? My mom was like, oh, yeah, she was like that. I was like, was she even paying attention? Like, but it's so true. We totally forget and we tell ourselves a different story about that.
Yeah. Every kid is playful.
Yeah.
Every kid, even the most serious, like really like the book smart kids, like sometimes we want play to look like a certain way.
Yeah.
We want to fit it into our box of play.
Yeah.
And play could be drawing, play could be cooking. I mean, play could be, I work with a lot of dog trainers, like they get to play all day.
Yeah. 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 I love that. What's your play? What do you play at?
What do I play? I really like making funny noises and singing songs. Darren's my husband, we just like sing and make noises a lot. Like our house is very
I love
loud.
that.
But I love exploring. I really like, we'll take road trips, and I really love exploring, and I find that very playful. Like I love going to museums. I love, that explorer part. I'm more of like an active, intuitive learner.
Yeah.
And just like dancing and making videos, I find really playful. That's why I'm,
Yeah.
by profession, a video coach. Like that's play to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Do you have a passion project? Is coaching your passion project? What's your passion project?
My passion project is Lady Liberty.
Okay.
So, in 2018, I was finishing up my creative writing and literature degree. And one of my projects was to create a social media project, a nonprofit. And I had this like intuitive download to bring the Statue of Liberty to life as a nonviolent superhero. So that is like her being, her name is actually Liberty Enlightening the World. So it's freedom, it's enlightenment, it's education, it's just all the things.
Yeah.
So the idea was to create a children's show around her being the host of this children's show. But in my work that I've done in these last couple of years, I'm like, okay, it's not the kids who need to play. It's the adults.
Yeah.
Right. So what's it's turned into for now is Darren and I read children's books once a week on screen, on a live, because children's books are a great way for us as adults to get grounded in some really basic things that we might have forgotten about. And they're just really, and it's my own way to explore. I've always loved kids' books. I think we've talked about this before we put in contact. So I work with different publishers and different authors, and as long as they send us the hard copy book, we read it and promote it. So that's really the piece of my passion project is Planet Liberty, the show. And what we focus on now is the reading of the books. But at some point, when I've got more time and things like that, I would love to make Planet Liberty really about exploration, creativity, play, and the reads. Ooh. And really, we've got the structure of it, but it's really, I'm building my coaching business as well, and I'm teaching other people play in front of the camera. So my passion project really is the Lady Liberty piece of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you find that many or most of the entrepreneurs that you're working with, are they following their passion project, or do you coach them on that?
I coach them to follow their heart, because a lot of times when we're doing video, the video coaches out there, like they want you to do specific mechanics. Yeah. And I come from a place of, this is your show. Yeah. And you get to do what feels good to you, and you get to play.
Yeah.
So, and the entrepreneurs that I'm working with actually are doing their passion projects, and they're making them into like their vision just happens to be building a business and having a really big world changing idea that also not only the profitability of being on camera and enrolling clients, but also growing their audience. Because not everyone, you know, as influencers, not everyone's always going to buy from us.
Yeah.
But there's a message that can get out there. And I also love video because of the vibrations that we
Oh, tell me about that. I didn't know. Tell me.
Well, when we're on, especially a live like this, your
Yeah.
energy is going to flow. Like even if you're writing an email and you send it to your list, or you know, if you do a Facebook Live, or even if you take a picture, like there's an energy exchange that happens there. So in my world, video is a great way to raise the vibration of the world. If you're speaking from your heart authentically, powerfully, I mean, humans are wired for love, and most of us just want to be heard. So the more that we are actually on camera, getting our messages out there, that means other people not only are hearing it, but they get to be inspired and empowered to step into their play state.
Wow, I love that, because I feel like a lot of them would be kind of reluctant to get on camera because, again, it's the whole like showing up and not like paperwork, pushing paper, you know what I mean? So that's really cool to hear. Yeah.
It's bigger than us. It really is. It's way bigger than us. And some people can be resistant to video. Like I know a lot of parents don't necessarily want their kids to watch video.
Yeah.
And the reality is that video is actually, it's not going to go away. So let's start to lean into it in a really powerful with intention of using it for good.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So what do you do? Like, how do you get those play juices flowing and especially in front of the camera? Like, what do you, I don't know, what do you recommend, or like?
Well, it depends on what kind of person you are. Like, I'm really high energy.
Yeah.
So I've already got the energy. So if I need to, you know, have a conversation that's a little more serious, like I'll actually ground and meditate. But if it's someone who's like pretty low energy, then put on your favorite dance song and just like get crazy and wild. The other thing is that when, like, before you make your video, let's say it's a Facebook Live, have an intention of what you want your people to feel. Because we're not making videos for ourselves. We're making videos for other people.
Yeah.
So what's the message that you want to get out there? Like what you're doing here is beautiful because you're giving people permission to follow their passion.
Thank you. It's like real.
I get it
all the time.
I get it. I see it. You know?
Yeah.
People get to dream about their playhouse, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if that was just your beach house that was behind you? Like, we get to dream big like that. So the work that I do with my clients is that we actually do a lot of guided activation / meditations, because it's not up to me to tell you what your play is. You get to explore that yourself. And the best way I have found is really going into our hearts and into, you know, our own spaces and traveling through there and kind of doing a play space.
That is so cool. I did not know half of this stuff. This is awesome. I'm learning so much. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you see things that come up for people that are following their passion projects? Are there like common stumbling blocks or?
Oh yeah.
Tell me about those.
Yeah. It's so interesting because we're such gluttons for punishment, right? And we'll hit like a certain level. I love The Big Leap, the book The Big Leap.
Yes, so good.
Talks about the upper limit problem. So the bigger game you're playing, the bigger the resistance is going to get. Yes. So as we're like, you know, up leveling, our ego is like, whoa, wait a minute. And the best cure to that is the easiest. What do you think it is?
You know what? I had an epiphany this morning, so I'll share with you my epiphany. It's letting go of being unattached to results. Does that count? That was my epiphany this morning.
Yeah. Another great way is just play.
Play. Yes.
Like when you're feeling like icky and like stuck and like get up, move your body, put on something funny, but like really it's about like moving your body. You know, a lot of shamans, when they're going into like their journeying, they'll actually like kind of have like, because I love the mystical side. That's why I do the mystical mornings. But the shamans will actually have something like, I've got my tutu here. They'll have something like over their eyes, right? Not fully over, but like kind of like just a little bit over, and they move their body, and they usually drum or like have a rattle or something. And what they're doing is like they're going into like almost a meditative state, but they're like you've probably seen like Native Americans like dancing for the rain dance, and they've got something over their eyes, like we all can be in a shamanic state, like, and it's about us moving our bodies and moving the energy around so that you can shift out of whatever it is, because everything that we want is on the other side of the thing that's stopping us. And all you have to do to get rid of the thing that's stopping you is shift into love, shift into the higher vibration. Does that make sense?
It totally does. And I get to figure out what that will look like for me. I have an author friend who actually wears a costume when she writes.
Yep.
She actually
so that actually brings me to another piece. So another thing that we work on in my program is the ritual awareness. So as a writer, when I get down, and actually this is great that I'm talking about this, I haven't done it in a while, but I know I'll light a candle, and that triggers me into that creative play state.
Nice.
Of like writing.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then what I teach my clients is really figuring out, okay, what kind of ritual do I need to do in order to be camera ready? For me, I get up, I take a shower, and I do my makeup first thing in the morning, because then I have no excuse not to be on camera.
I love that.
It's out of the way. Like that was my block. Right.
Yeah.
So whatever that thing is, you get to figure out like a really fun, loving ritual that's simple. It could be just lighting a camera, lighting a candle, like, and that's sensory. It's smell, sight, and sound, because a little sizzle.
I'm gonna try that. I think mine might be putting music on. But then, like most days that works, but then some days I'm like still trying to find the right song to get me. I'm like, that's not the one. That's not the one. So you could just
to simplify it, just pick a song.
Yeah.
And that is your song. Like Uptown Funk, I've heard it so many times in my life. Every single time it gets me going. I'm like, I can't believe I'm not sick of this freaking song yet.
Yeah.
Or it could be like I have a space heater in my office. Like just turning that on turns on my like, oh yeah, okay, I'm here. I'm ready to.
Yeah.
So it's a ritual awareness. But something that like you love. Like make it something that is yours. You know, it's like you and your higher self. And
yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Yeah. Oh, that's really good. That's really juicy. I'm taking that home with me.
Yay! Take it all.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of answered a lot of my questions from the get-go, and I was like, this is important. You're like, this is universal important level, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And people, so I just love to speak into, like, as adults, like, especially in our society right now, we are actually being rewarded for working ourselves into the ground.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, especially with COVID, you know, it's been proven that it's time to slow down.
Yeah.
And take time. So one thing that a fellow coach of mine evoked out of me. So here's the energy thing of it, is she was like kind of having a little bit of a breakdown, and I texted her, I was like, slow down to speed up. And I was like, where did that come from? I'm like, whatever. Like, and she's like, I say that all the time. Like she literally evoked it out of me.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's how powerful energy is.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, okay, well, I needed to it came through me because I needed to learn that message too.
Yeah.
So when we're like in that busy state and like we're getting burned out. I mean, sometimes we're in the busy state and it's awesome. Like you're in the zone, you're writing your book, I'm making my videos, but sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know? So what's missing? And a lot of times we're giving so much that we're not taking a minute to just do the thing that we really want to do.
Yeah.
That's why procrastination happens.
And I think like too, I had a friend also talk to me, actually one of my, my first guest, Chantel, and she talked about, so there is a thing of like turning your passion project into like your full-time thing, but there's also a nice place to be where your passion project is just play and it never turns into something else. And she made a good case for that because, where was I going? I'm totally dropping my own thread here, but yeah, what I'm hearing is like when I'm thinking about all the people who are doing and they're super successful, but it will only go so far because they're losing connection, they're losing like the flow and the passion and the joy of a passion project.
It's the joy and the play of it. Because once we start, like, reading the books for us is really easy because there's no expectation. We do it once a week. Like during the shutdown, we were doing it every weekday, and we've scaled back. I'd love to do it every day again, but like it's just there and it takes care of itself, and it's easy breezy passion, right? And I'd love to like make it something more because it's actually really important, I think, for the world to have that gift, and
it doesn't have to lose that. Like I had Jennifer Turliak on Monday, and she interviewed people like the creators of Uber and Airbnb, and like for them that's play, and it's an incredibly successful business, but they're still in it. Like they're still in the play zone. They're like, look at that. Like, they're still in that energy, like you say. Yeah. And I guess that's what's going to carry you through the ups and downs and things like COVID and the pandemic is just that the joy is there, the underlying joy.
Well, and they're also not, they're senior to their circumstances. Right. So when you're in a play state, you're constantly innovating, you're pivoting. You're like, okay, this isn't like a breakdown. This is actually an opportunity to reinvent what we're doing.
Wow.
So if you keep going into it like that, then you're constantly in the play.
Oh, that's
like even doing the dishes, like making me poop, like what, I've got a dog, like whatever it is, like if you can tap into that play state, your life is going to be way more enjoyable.
I'm going to repeat that because that's so incredible. So like, the play state being above circumstances, and like how like pivoting, business reinvention, all that is play state.
It's
I like.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Instead of it happening to you, like how is it happening for you in your business?
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. Oh, Keelin, I love that so much. I'm going to end it there because I just want everybody to just like let that sink in. That was so awesome.
Cool.
Keelin, well, thank you so much for being on the show. I will have information on your website and everything on the website so people can learn more about you. And you are awesome. So many mic drop moments. Love you very much.
Love you too. Thanks for having me. Bye, guys. Take care. Bye.
Thank you all. That is another episode of Passion Project, and we'll see you soon. Bye.